The House Select Committee investigating the January 6th insurrection will be holding its fifth session of public hearings today.
That's right. Lawmakers will be focusing on former President Trump's alleged efforts to repeatedly enlist help from the Justice Department in his efforts to overturn the 2020 election results.
The House subcommittee will hear from three former Justice Department officials this afternoon. Former Acting Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen, former Acting Deputy Attorney General Richard Donoghue, and former Assistant Attorney General Stephen Engel were all top Justice Department officials at the end of the Trump presidency. All three say they were pressured by the former president to intervene in the election results.
One former Justice Department official who will not be testifying today is Jeffrey Clark. He's a former mid-level DOJ employee who advocated for a department investigation into former President Trump's baseless claims of election fraud. Let's bring in CBS News senior investigative correspondent Catherine Herridge now for more on this. Catherine, great to see you. So we do know that the focus of today's hearing is the pressure that was being placed on the DOJ. So who are the key witnesses and what should we be listening for?
Well, good afternoon. The key player here is Jeff Clark. He was this mid-level Justice Department official. His portfolio was environmental law. And in the late fall of 2020, he really had the ear of then President Donald Trump. And Clark was advocating for the Justice Department to intervene on the basis of what he described as irregularities in the election results. And he was also calling for the suspension of the certification of the state electors. We will not be hearing testimony from Clark today. He has given a deposition to congressional investigators. But in that deposition, he invoked the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination on dozens of occasions. We will hear testimony from the Justice Department leadership that was in strong opposition to Clark. As you mentioned, Jeffrey Rosen, who was the acting attorney general, his deputy Patrick Donoghue, and then also Steve Engel. Steve Engel is very important because he ran something called the Office of Legal Counsel. It's like the government's internal lawyer that provides legal advice for the executive branch. And their position was that there wasn't evidence of widespread voter fraud. That is not what the Justice Department and the FBI had found, and they believed that any intervention by the Justice Department would have been a gross abuse of power, and they were prepared to resign en masse based on that principle.
And Catherine, the January 6th committee is also looking to learn more about this contentious January 3rd meeting in the Oval Office with President Trump and his legal teams. What more do we know about what happened inside the Oval that day?
Well, Lane, we spent a lot of time talking about January 6th, but I would argue one of the most pivotal events was this meeting in the Oval Office in the late afternoon of January 3rd. Just to set the scene, based on the depositions that had been given, then President Trump was seated behind the Resolute desks, and they had the top lawyers, not only from the Justice Department, but also the White House legal team. And he said to them, I'm going to allow you to debate the pros and cons of Justice Department intervention into the presidential election results. One of my contacts who for years worked at the Justice Department told me the feeling was this conversation ought to just take a couple of minutes. But in the end, it took several hours as the president listened to the pros and cons going back and forth and our sort of democratic principles hanging in the balance. All of the lawyers, the Justice Department lawyers, the White House legal team, everyone except for Clark felt that there just wasn't that evidence of widespread voter fraud. And for that reason, the Justice Department could not go beyond their current investigations. They wouldn't be holding press conferences. They wouldn't be making public statements. They wouldn't be launching litigation. And at the end of the day, President Trump sided with that view. He did not take Jeff Clark and install him as the acting attorney general to carry out this plan. And the reason all of that matters is that these lawyers, not only at the Justice Department, but also at the most senior levels of the White House, said, if you do that, Mr. President, we will resign en masse. And there must have been a recognition by President Trump that that was something his administration simply could not survive.
Incredible revelations. Catherine Herridge, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder to our viewers, the hearing begins at